Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to answer your questions.
Oh, no, okay.
Well, I'll make one if you'd like, America.
We'll take more question time. Could you
Give us a statement on the reports of 50 dual nationals being released as hostages. iNews is reporting that. Are there Canadians involved? Is Canada aware of this?
Right now, there are 2 Canadians who are still reported missing, and we're working with other nations and allies in the region. We are calling for the release of all hostages at this point. I do not have any information to confirm or corroborate what you've just asked me, so I'll await that information.
But you're not able to say that it's not happening?
What's that? No, I can't confirm more. I'm just not aware of it. I haven't been briefed on that.
Okay.
Minister Blair, what do you make of CC's Director Vigneault's comments that they've blocked the PRC from acquiring certain locations near strategic assets in Canada?
And again, I actually watched Director Vigneault's comments on 60 Minutes yesterday. I am quite familiar with the work that Canada has done to protect our national interests, the protection of critical infrastructure, and I'm not going to talk in any detail about the intelligence we've relied upon or even actions that have been taken, but I can confirm that we remain very vigilant in protecting Canada's interests with respect to the hostile activities of several countries, but in particular the People's Republic of China.
Can you give us a rough timeline of when that took place, when they were blocked?
I can tell you I've been a member of this cabinet now for over 6 years, and we have engaged in many such actions over the past 6 years.
Regarding the spamouflage, GAC says that deepfake videos were used. What can you tell us about the deepfake videos and how they were used?
Well, again, there's an analysis taking place. I just came from CSE and our cybersecurity center, and they are doing the work now to determine exactly what may have been compromised and the steps that will be necessary to take in order to protect our information systems. We know that there has been some targeting of Canadian government and government officials. We're still determining what the full extent of that is, and we'll have more to say as that information and the analysis, which is being done at the Cybersecurity Center.
What else did they?
It seems to be a possible foreign interference, whether by a government or not. Shouldn't things like that be part of Judge Ogg's mandate? She's going to be only going to study what happens during elections, but election interference happens 365 days a week, so why not extend her mandate?
Well, first of all, I think Judge Hogue has a fairly broad mandate to examine political interference, but I think I don't want to get ahead of the investigation at this point to the point of attribution. I think there's important work that our officials have to complete in order to be able to attribute responsibility for this. There are certainly hostile state actors who may be engaged in this, but there are also other non-state actors who sometimes engage in such behavior. And so I think it's appropriate to allow our officials to conduct their investigation and then listen very carefully to how they may be able to attribute responsibility for that.
On Israel.
The spamouflage specific for getting
One at a time, guys, and I'll stay as long as I can, but I do have to be in there for 2
Canadians, if Canadians stranded in Lebanon, if it comes to that, where are we in terms of planning for any kind of air bridge, land bridge, or sea bridge to get?
I can tell you, just being proactive and out of an abundance of caution, we remember well our previous experience in 2006. The Canadian Armed Forces have deployed, along with IRCC and the Global Affairs, have deployed resources into Lebanon, but also into Cyprus. We are working in preparation and planning for what may be required of us. We are also have been encouraging, there are still commercial flights, for example, going from Lebanon. We've encouraged those Canadian citizens resident in Lebanon at the present time to use commercial flights while they remain available. But if those flights are not subsequently available in the event of future developments, we're making sure we're doing the work now to get ready.
Can you clarify, though? Can you
Sorry,
clarify?
on the timing of the statement Saturday night, that's a weird timing, right? During the weekend, at night, was there any...
There was, the timing
was there
was...
delayed for...
The report that was completed by the Canadian Armed Forces, I was briefed on it. We then made arrangements to brief the Prime Minister. It's absolutely important to bring it to his attention. When that was done, we then went to work for the public release of documents. All that work took some time. I acknowledge that I put that out rather late on a Saturday night. There was no intent. I wanted it to be public as quickly as we had it available. All that work was completed on Saturday evening. We made it available.
Can you clarify, though, on that? Why then are the initial statements from the Prime Minister and Melanie Joly still in the public domain? Melanie Joly tweeted that bombing a hospital is illegal. You have clearly said from your own department's analysis that this was something from within Gaza. So why is the government's statements on it being illegal still up there if Israel is not to blame?
On behalf of the Government of Canada, I've released the findings of an independent analysis that was done by the Canadian Armed Forces and the CAF Intelligence Command. We believe that analysis is well informed by the work of the CAF on open source.
Right. I'm not questioning your analysis. I'm questioning why the previous statements are still standing and still in the public domain.
Well, what was said previously will remain in the public domain, but I think it was important that we do that analysis and that we provide.
So the government doesn't believe that it was illegal anymore?
Again, I'm just saying what we believe is that rocket did not originate from. It's highly unlikely. We would say with a high degree of confidence that it was not fired from Israel. It's far more likely, based on our analysis, that it originated in Gaza. It still resulted in a tragic loss of life, and frankly, the loss of innocent life concerns us. But
why hasn't the government retracted those initial statements then?
And again, we provided out, I think, a very clear analysis and determination of what we believe happened here.
Just coming back to Lebanon, is there plans for any kind of sea lift? We used boats the last time, in 2006, to get people out.
We're looking at every eventuality. We know that in previous conflicts, for example, the airport in Beirut was not available to us, and so we're looking at every option, every eventuality. The Canadian Armed Forces are doing that planning work now, and we want to make sure that should and if they be required, that we're ready to help Canadians.
Any specifics? How many CAF members are there? How many planes
I
are
never
there?
give out the number, but we have a substantial number of CAF members in the region, and they're doing the important work that needs to be done.
And when will we have an update on the hostages? Are you expecting another update today?
If I get more information, I'll happily come back to you and share it.
Okay, thank you.